I know we have a strong cultural bias to think the bottom-up solutions will be really good because we all like feeling ourselves on the bottom and we don't like the people on the top. But bottom-up solutions have just the same lag problems and free rider problems that Jamais identified at the beginning. And when Jill says civil society has been driving this agenda, you have to say, well, that's not been very successful so far, has it, really?
Not enough.
Which isn't to say that I think civil society should stop driving the agenda, so much as I think you need to have a different agenda, because this one really isn't getting very far. And when people hear Jill saying things like, you know, if we priced in the externalities, we'd have $20 a gallon gasoline, which I assume is a lot. I don't really know because I don't drive and I think in liters and euros. But if people hear that sort of talk, they're going to say, okay, well, let's not do that then. It's certainly true that if you could force people to have $20 a buck gasoline, then they would undoubtedly have different cars. But it seems much more likely that they will have different politicians who will not force them to do this thing. And I think that's the way we see the debate having played out so far. And I don't hear any reason for thinking that civil society can do a much better job than it's been doing. But I would love to be wrong. It's been an interesting discussion, but we have become, I think, quite focused for obvious reasons on America towards the end. And I just want to remind people that there are 1 billion people living in developed countries, and there are about 1 billion people leading quasi-developed country lifestyles in developing countries, and there are 5 billion people not doing that. And there are going to be 2 billion more people not doing that. And it's very important that those 5 to 7 billion people be given that opportunity, and that's where the fight is, not actually in America where carbon emissions are currently coming down, though not fast enough to make a big difference, but that's where the real issue is, and that's where it's not immediately clear to me how bottom-up action in America can help. My other point, because I feel I've been very negative for the last 45 minutes, is a slightly skewed point about geoengineering, which is that one of the problems that people bring up, we brought it up in this discussion, is that geoengineering governance raises problems. Actually, geoengineering governance is a considerably easier problem than climate governance at the moment, because it has likely to have fewer players, much less lag time, much more sense of genuine interests on the table, and fewer vested interests. And so if you can use geoengineering governance to prize open the bigger question of climate governance and bigger question of, as it were, biogeophysical governance, you might actually find that you had a borderline nice solution.